If you had the opportunity to live in a children's wonderland, would you choose anywhere else? We don't just say, we do. It's the Stain City way.
Hello and welcome to Real Talk with me, Anele Mdoda. Today being a Friday, we have us a very special guest who gives us the works of her heart. See what I did there? Through her music, she's an award-winning singer, songwriter, and producer whose work goes up a notch every time she releases a new album. In 2016 alone, she was nominated South African of the Year in the music category, won the Summer 22 for Best Female Artist of the Year, toured South Africa with the legendary Lionel Richie, and had 6 nominations at the Metro FM Music Awards. This is, however, only the tip of the iceberg and a testament of the impeccable work she's been doing in music throughout her career, which kicked off in 1996. This phenomenal artist is not only once, twice, 3 times a lady. Look what I did again. She's one of the best female vocalists in the country, and she is Zonke Dikana. Zonke, welcome to Real Talk.
I won't even be able to say hello in the
I'm like, hey.
See what I did there?
See what I did there? You know what I love
so
about
much.
your obsession with Lionel Richie?
Yes.
Is that it came full circle when you opened for him, right? Or closed for him. As what my dad says. My dad was like, yeah, no, Lionel is amazing, but, you know, I just feel Zonke, you know, Zonke knows what she's doing.
I love your dad, eh?
Dude.
I don't even know your dad, but
you like, there's a guy.
No, it really did come full circle. My dad was a fan. And when I used to perform with my father in his band, he used to perform Lionel's songs a lot.
Hello was the one.
Hello was the song, you know, and he didn't even say hello. He would say hello.
Oh,
you know?
Go daddy.
I know.
All right.
So yeah, I wish my dad was here for me to say, wow, look what I've done.
Look what I've done.
Look what you've done for me, because I feel like I owe it all to him as well.
Music was instilled in you by your dad.
No, definitely. He was the first musician in the family. And the fact that his kids, all his kids, went on to become musicians was always something like, wow, I can't believe that I never even forced you kids to do what I do. We never even forced you, but, you know, watching you, you know, becoming musicians on your own was something that my dad was very proud of.
But something has to be said, because I'm always very much aware, since I became a parent, that, you know, you can teach your child many things, but I'd like for my child to watch me do things. Yes. So something has to be said about the fact that you guys watched your dad follow his dreams throughout. Like, you guys stayed in PE, he was in Cape Town, following his dreams. So you can be sad that your dad's not there, but you can also be like, you go, Dad.
Look, when we were younger, we were sad. And then when we became older and we knew that, okay, actually, we now want to sing. We all want to sing, and this is how it needs to be done. There are no studios. There were no studios at the time in PE, so we knew that, oh my goodness, for me to record, I need to go to Joburg. So that's when we started understanding why he had to leave. And then, you know, I mean, we were sad that he was gone, but it's funny, we never, at no point did we not get along with my father, where we were not talking because we were angry at him, because we're starting to understand that this is what he had to do to chase his dream.
I heard that he was so strict that even when he wasn't there, just the mention of his name, you'd stand at attention, you'd be like, hey.
So we're never, you know, those kids that would jump the fence to go see friends or to go party. No, we're staying with my grandma, and my grandma would be like, like, oh, okay, that's enough.
Hi, Mom.
Just a phone call to my dad would be enough for us to behave. And he'd be gone for like 5, 6 years, 7 years at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, I promise you. So, but just him calling and saying, Mom says you are talking back. Mom says you're being cheeky. That was enough for us to behave.
But now, speaking of Mom, I know that she wasn't really in music, but creative. Like, was a painter. She loved to paint. So that's another way in which you always find your color.
The writing comes from my mom, because she wrote short stories. We even have those short stories even today. Thinking of doing something with them. Very funny stories. So the writing comes from her. And she was very musical. I mean, she loved the bass, and I think that's the one thing that attracted her to my father. You know, she was a medical technologist.
Yeah.
And of course, my dad was a musician. But the combination was amazing. And none of them, you know, forced us into either one of their fields. You know, it was like, do whatever you want, you know, do whatever you want. And I'm grateful for that.
I'm so glad the writing has been explained, because I really feel like you are, if not the best writer in the country, you are one of the best writers.
Thank you.
And I know that you're one of the best writers because your songs don't get annoying ever. And that is indicative of great writing. Where every time I listen to a song, like Richard, every time I hear it, it feels like it's the first time I hear it. But I'm like, but then why do you know the words? And it's an effervescent.
Thank you so much.
It's like, you know, it just goes on forever, you know?
To me, less is more, you know? I mean, if you listen to Richard,
yes,
it sounds quite empty, you know? It's sparse, there's lyrics there, you know, a lot of instrumentation.
And almost like an echo at times.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
When you just go, whoa!
Yeah, so I wanted the song to be like that. Everything about that song was on purpose. You know, I just heard it in my sleep, and I wanted it to be empty. I wanted it to have a lot of percussion, you know, and not cluttered. So less definitely is more in music, especially if you want songs that will live on forever. Forever. You know, like
that don't get annoying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of you hearing it in your sleep, apparently you sleep with the recorder on the side of your bed and you wake up in the crack.
You've been listening to.
Girl, I stalked you enough. Don't you worry about me. But I was just like, that's amazing, because so what do you do? Do you wake up and you record a lyric, a melody?
Everything. I wish I knew how to explain this better. It just all happens at the same time. The lyrics, the melody, everything. Like, it's so embarrassing. If I was to bring my phone to you right now,
I'd be like, what's going on here?
Like, I'm explaining the bass. Like, okay, the bass goes like this, and I even sing it to myself. Okay. And then I explain even like which time the song comes from. If I feel like it's got that 70s vibe, I'll say 70s vibe type of song, like in my record. I'm embarrassing myself.
No, this is beautiful, because you know so many people can't explain. Because I remember watching a Pharrell interview, and he says when a song comes to him, it feels like somebody took like lots of paint and they're different colors and just went, and then it hits him like that. So it's always so amazing to know how it comes to you.
The process is different for, you know, for everyone. But for me, it's like that. I hear everything: the drum pattern, the bass line, the guitar riff, the percussion pattern, everything. So I will record it on my phone and then go into studio, do pre-production, and then have session musicians. So they will listen to what I've put down. And they'll play exactly because everything on there is
What month are you born?
October 11th.
What star sign are you?
Libra.
Libra.
Yes. Okay. We're very artistic.
But you're very Virgo as well. Because I remember Michael Jackson would do that as well, and then he'd tell people to play it, and then they wouldn't play it like that. He's like, no, this is not how I wrote it.
Yeah, I would have to tell people a lot, like, that's not how I wrote it.
I want you to play it the way I wrote it.
Yes, because it's on purpose. That thing is like, if it's not right, every time you listen to the song, you have a little like something went wrong. You know, like, there comes that part where they didn't play exactly what I wanted, and you're like, you know? So it mustn't be like that.
Would you agree that you are quite academic about your craft? Is it because you were quite a smart student in school?
I was, even though I didn't study music. You
Yeah.
know, I think if you're naturally smart, you are able to become academic about anything or any field, really, that you're interested in. So I was very smart in school.
Because your teachers were like, it's a pity you want to be a musician.
Yes. My English teacher, you know, loved me so much. I was like a teacher's pet.
Yes.
You know, so, and that's the subject that I really, really enjoyed, and I would get a lot of diplomas for at school and all of that. And I'm not great in English, but it's just a subject that I loved in school, you know what I mean? So my teacher said, Dikana, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I said, I want to be an artist. Okay, what kind of artist? I want to sing. Really? Why would you waste your life like that?
You're going to starve. Artists don't get paid. What a pity.
I don't know. I was too young to understand what she was going on about. And, but I understood. I understood. felt like you spent all this time teaching you, and I thought you were going to go on to become an English professor or something, and you only want to do music, really?
You want to do music.
Yes.
Look, we are grateful that that's what you picked. And to be fair, your English does come through a lot in your song. So, hi, teacher. Hi.
Thank you so much.
Listen, time for a quick ad break. Do not forget, later on in the show, I'll be announcing this week's competition winner. This is Real Talk on 3. Stay with us. Zonke Dikana is the guest today, and I'm pretty sure you are stoked. I remember going to the Metro FM Awards the year you were nominated for this album.
Yes.
And every time they'd be like, okay, remember nominated for the Song of the Year and all of that stuff, they'd play the clips.
Yes.
And every time your song went on, like the entire, and this was in Durban, I remember,
Yes.
at the ICC in Durban, the entire place would just erupt. You're sitting there, like, come on, girl. Come on, girl. What goes through your mind when you just hear your song and like hundreds and thousands of people just lose their minds?
You think of the day, well, I think of the days that when nobody knew who I was, you know, and I was just a writer, and then I had the first album, Life, Love and Music, and nobody really knew. It was a great start, but nobody really knew who I was. So when that happens, and everybody's going crazy, that's the song, that's the artist, it's like, wow, so this wasn't for nothing. You know, I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm glad I continued, because you can easily get discouraged, you know. I mean, I had a great first album. You know, I was with the best company for me at the time, Galawa Jasmine, and it was a great start. But, you know, it takes a while before people really, really trust you as a musician who is able to deliver time and time again, you know. So I was happy. That was my sophomore album. You know, Ina Ete was my sophomore. And normally the sophomore album is the one that bombs.
Yes,
you know,
because
you have a first grade album, and then the sophomore album doesn't do well at all.
Because you've spent your entire savings account of talent and feelings on this one, just so we can get to know who you are. And then sophomore comes, and then you overdraft.
And that's when everything now, for me, it was no overdraft. It was like, okay, now that's when everything just
I think that's when a
happened.
person knows they're an artist and not a singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thrilled. I was happy with myself, because that's the album where I said, I want to produce my own album. I want to write, well, I've always written my own songs, but produced by other people, where, you know, at Galawa, they'll give you a song and then you write to it. So this was the first time where I was like, I'm producing my own album.
What
I'm
does
arranging.
producing my own album mean?
Means exactly that, where you're not just getting a beat from somebody and then
making
you
your own
write
beat.
it. You're making your own beat, you know, from scratch. You sit at a piano and you compose a song, and you go into studio, and people listen to you as to how it should go and how it goes and everything.
Wow.
And you arrange. And so I write the lyrics, the melody, and then the music is composed by me as well.
And you say, at this point in time, I want to take it into the bridge.
Yes,
And then,
exactly. So, and then arrange. So I arrange my own stuff. I compose, I write.
so
I
you
do
own the entire
everything.
production line of your music.
It's my music in every way, shape, or form. If you look at my albums, if those who have hard copies, they will see at the back there that produced by myself. Normally an artist will be there to sing, and then there's someone who's kind of guiding them and saying, okay, no, don't do this, do that. And I'm that person. I'm the person who's telling the musicians what to play, what not to play. You know, follow what you've listened to. You know what I mean?
But like you said, you didn't study for it. So where did you learn that? Along the
I
way?
guess it comes from just being naturally smart. I think if you're naturally smart, it's easy to grasp. My dad wasn't really there to, you know, hold our hands and teach us music. I mean, he also was self-taught. He never went to school for it. He used to bunk school actually to go learn how to play drums.
Okay.
You know, so there's nobody in my family that is well versed in music like that in terms
the
of schooling.
academic side,
Academic side, exactly. You know, so it just, I don't know where it comes from. It's from my dad.
It's remarkable. It's actually it's quite remarkable. So how does Germany come into the picture? Because you spent 4 years in Germany. Do you speak a little?
I just know when you being difficult and you're like, ich kann so nicht arbeiten, meaning I can't work like this. So if you give me a tough time, Anele, I'll say I can't work like this.
Say that again, please.
Ich kann so nicht arbeiten.
All I know is Gunther.
But you know, when you learn a language, you start with the
with the silly things.
silly things.
The
So
naughty
I wouldn't
things.
want to say
Yeah,
those
no.
things here.
I like my
So-
show. Let's not get
yeah,
me fired.
but how the Germany thing comes in is when I met, when I first came to Joburg,
Yeah.
wanting to sing. And my dad was staying with my stepmom, Anele, who was a member of Joy. They had the big song Paradise Road.
Wait a minute. The Come With Me down
Come
Paradise
with
Road.
me, yes. One of those ladies was my stepmom. Better days before us, yes. And a burning bridge behind the fire smoking.
Don't speak lies into my ears.
Am I lying, girl? That was my stepmom. So she would take me all around with her, trying to get me, you know, to do session work and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and possibly get
Is this when she
signed.
tried to get you to back up for Ringo?
Yes,
Okay,
but
yeah.
Ringo already had, you know, his
Yeah.
people that, you know, he trusted.
trust and he
which-
knew
yes,
and
which
was-
is normal.
Yeah.
And then I called a few people, Chico and, you know, all those kinds of people, until we met Joe Nina. So Joe Nina is the person who was like, I like what I'm hearing here. So he allowed me in his band. He was touring at the time. So I did backings in his band.
And you guys do have that same simplistic sound.
yes.
That clean.
That clean,
Dwanguwe, you know, Niyakuthanda. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And I was very grateful for, you know, for that experience, because I'd never done backings before.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if I could sing proper. You know, am I wet signing? Can I be on stage with someone?
Oh, wow.
But yeah, he took that chance on me, and yeah, that's how I kind of got a bit of experience. And then Anele introduced me to Leon Erasmus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Leon's like, this girl, every interview she mentions my name. Well, I'm grateful. I
Sorry,
mentioned the
Leon. It's
people
going to
that-
happen a few more
I
times.
mentioned the people that, you know, had helped me get to where I am today. And yeah, she said, look, I can't be available to do jingles for you anymore. Use my daughter. She's got a great voice, and yeah, if there's any problems, call me. So I started working with Leon doing jingles. you
Jingles
know,
for like radio stations and for adverts.
just adverts.
Okay.
Banks, stuff like that, and whatever. And he said to me, I think I want to manage you. You know, you sound good. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, he wanted to put together a band for me. He did that. And so we do corporate
Is
work.
this club culture?
Club culture.
The band wasn't.
No.
No, not yet.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Guys were from different places.
Okay.
Two were from Congo.
Oh,
It's people
wow.
that he would call into studio to, you know, to play in the jingles.
Okay.
So, and then he put us together, and
makes sense.
yeah, and we would perform a couple of covers, and I didn't like it because I was a songwriter, so I wanted.
Yeah,
was
covers
desperate
are,
to-
I'm not going to say beneath you, but for lack of a better phrase, covers are very notchy.
I just didn't like it because you can easily
Get comfortable.
get comfortable, you know.
If the bills are paid.
And learn to sing like Beyonce, and then you think you can sing. No, you've just been studying and listening to Beyonce so that you can do those covers. Let's hear you. So it becomes difficult to come out of being Beyonce to, you know, and
To
have
then
your
have
own
your own
identity and own
literally
sound.
voice.
Exactly. So I didn't want to do that for long. So we incorporated a lot of the songs that I had written. Even if they sounded rough, at least they were my songs, you know. Performed around a lot until he called me at night actually and said, I just went to see this show from a band called Jazz Cantina from Germany. They were invited to South Africa and they played in Newtown. I told them about you. And I'm like, oh, okay, you think it's not going to go anywhere? You know, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so they gave me their card. They're going to send music. And you think, whatever,
Sure.
we'll see, you know? But a week or two later, he says, hey, those guys I told you about, they sent some music. You want to come listen? So I went into studio, listened to some stuff, and there was one song that kind of stood out in my mind, and he said, why don't you write to this? And I wrote, so I wrote that, you know, I called the song Africa My Motherland. So
Yeah.
of course it had a part where I was saying, Africa all the way from Africa, because I knew it was going to Germany.
Going to Germany,
Yes.
so and it must sound African. You can't
Exactly.
be imitating any other thing.
Exactly. So they sent it, they loved it. They were amazed. 2-3 months later, they were in South Africa following me around with cameras and just documenting everything. And two guys who were also from Umtata, Amandla, and Mzo, who was from PE as well.
Yeah.
They were friends of mine, rappers. So I
Yeah.
invited them over, and, you know, just come to studio. There's this big thing happening around me, and we became Culture Clan.
Culture clan. I
Yes,
said
you
culture.
said culture.
I'm sure
Culture
there's
clan.
some culture thing going on
Yes.
here. Hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to know more about Cultural Clan. I want to know about living in Germany. And then I want to know more about her coming back and dominating the South African airwaves. It's all coming back right here. Real Talk on 3. Welcome back to Real Talk. Today, I'm joined by Zonke Dikana. Make sure you're sending us your tweets. It's at Real Talk on 3 and hashtag Real Talk with Anele. The first tweet I have to read is from @Somizi. Hi, Somizi. He says, Anele, you are interviewing, or let me say it like him. Anele, you're interviewing my faith, okay?
of course, yeah.
My obsession with her talent, same level as my obsession with Letta and Kaifasi. Shame.
I'm obsessed with you too. I know. Listen, he would call me and say, listen, come do an interview. That song number, whatever.
Yeah.
That song gives me life. I love Somizi. He shows appreciation. And
He does.
He gives props where they do.
Yes, but that's a true, like, he's a true entertainer. He's been doing it for so long that he's...
Akana's issues. If
he's
we
not
are
competing.
exactly.
He's seen every corner. I like this one from Ed Lunga. No, Nunu, if you could work with anyone internationally, who would it be? You can't say Kanye West.
Why not?
Because I know you want Kanye to produce your album, but I feel at this point Kanye needs you to produce his album.
No, listen, Kanye, let's forget into Kanye's
I know.
drama and
Talented, eh?
Kanye
He's a genius.
My goodness, he's a musical genius.
Yeah.
He's a musical genius. If you had been listening to John Legend, and you will know Guti Kanye has always been behind those albums.
Yeah.
You know, but Sade, I always say Sade. I would love to work with Sade because I see a lot of myself in her.
Yeah,
You know,
but it's there. It's that longevity,
Yes.
that simplicity.
And also the fact that she's just quiet. Uzenze into yakhe.
Yeah.
She's not loud. We don't see her anywhere.
There's no
It's just
PR.
umculo nje. Umculo.
I
That's
actually
what I like.
remember one interview where you said, you know, with this industry, you have to, like, you thought you have to have, you know, the charisma and you must be at gigs and you must go to functions, and then you were just like, this is not me, I'm not going to do that.
Yes, actually, at Galawa, recording Life, Love and Music,
Yeah.
Mandla Spikir, whom I love very much, said to me, hey, tell me, how are you going to be an artist? You know, you're too reserved.
Oh.
You know? And I'm like, actually, he's kind of right, but at the same time, I want to prove him wrong.
Okay.
That I can do this. I'm like, oh, well, I will be. I'll be reserved in my music. you
And
know?
it's fine.
And yeah, I mean, I understood exactly what he meant, because to be, I mean, you have to be like...
You have to sell your product,
yeah,
right?
you have to be out there. You have to be outgoing.
Yeah.
All the things that I'm not, you know? And I was like, well, I guess we're going to have to make it work.
We'll
and I love
see.
the fact that my talent spoke for itself. I didn't have to be anything other than what I am. And I'm best at just being me.
So when you're living in Germany, are you not lonely? Are you not missing home? Are you not craving umvubo? You know, like mili meal and sour milk, umvubo. Those are things that you love. What are you missing when you're that side?
I was always coming home because my parents were still alive. Everybody was still there. So I hated the fact that I was over there without them. You know, so I was frequenting home all the time. So it wasn't like, oh my goodness, I've been here for 4 years straight or a year straight or whatever. No,
You weren't
it wasn't
exiled.
like that.
You were just
no,
there
I
to
was not
work.
exactly.
Okay.
There to work and come back, be with my family. Yeah, the only thing was missing ukuthetha.
Oh, yeah.
isiXhosa nje
Yeah.
ukuthi, kunjani, you know.
When you land here, someone speaks to you, you're in any
Yes.
language. It could be
Hearing-
Afrikaans. Goeiemorgen, you're like, oh,
You're
thank
like,
you.
oh, thank you. You say, Mora.
Mora, yo work,
Yes.
man.
I was,
So then, when you come back, like, what's the final decision? Do you come back on a finality, or do you think you're just popping in, and when you hear, you're like, actually...
no, it was final. I was craving home, the music and everything, even though everything was great there. You know, I had done my album, was signed to Columbia Records.
Oh, wow.
I did my very, very first solo album, which was called Solitary, in Germany, under Columbia Records, along with the Culture Clan album.
Yeah.
So performances were amazing. Everything, sold out venues. They didn't even know who we were, but the music was great. As long as it was African, They were there attending and loving every minute of it. I was like, I wanna be known at home. I wanna be home. I wanna sing also to people who understand. Manditini, City. Kwamaxesha pondiziva nganelisekanga kodwa you keep me going. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
We're just gonna sing along.
Exactly. So came back and you're looking for a deal, of course. Okay, where am I gonna go? I also had that solitary album, looking to release it in South Africa. And my sister said, I'm going to Galawa Jasmine. You know, I love what they've been doing. I said, okay, fine, I'm going to come with you. I went with her to her meeting, you know, with Oskido. And I just sat there. I was saying nothing because I was not looking for a deal. I just was just accompanying my sister.
And I mean, you and your sisters, coming from a musical family, used to perform for your uncles, you know, as kids.
As kids, when, you know, guests would arrive at our home.
I know there's a song, guys, you just call out my name.
And you know, wherever I am, I'll come running, 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 running
to see you again.
So it would harmonize the three of us, you know, we're like Viva's trio at the time. I mean, my little sister Asanda wasn't even born at the time, the youngest one. So yeah, and I kind of, going back into Lulu's story, how we met Oskido and them. Yeah, they some of her recordings had my voice in them, and they were like, why don't you guys become a duo? And we said, no. We don't do that kind of stuff.
That's very strong of you.
Don't do that kind of stuff. I mean, I am looking for a deal. I don't know what's going to happen when I walk out of this office and we are turning down a chance to be a duo at
Galawa Jazz, who are housing so many artists that you're looking at their success, you're like, we could be there, but no.
I know, but we were like, no, that's not what we're looking for. And, you know, we just want to be solo artists. And they loved us. Lulu at the time had a full-time job. So I was always the one who's waiting for the phone to ring. Would he come into the studio? Come into studio. So I was always there in the studio doing different things. You know, we did jingles for soft drink company. I'm not going to mention because they didn't pay you. Soft drink companies and all of that. Until eventually Bruce called me and said, come and listen to the song. I think you'd be great on it. And it was Tebe's Groover's Prayer. That's how.
Some more, I'm full of driver, some more, I'm full of That song, hey? Still today,
I know. So I was like, oh, okay.
Sorry, you just took me Friday. You just took me Friday.
So yeah, he gave me, I said, okay, fine, let me just go home quickly. I dashed, you know, to my house, which is like 10 minutes away from the studio.
Yeah.
I used to live in Sunning Hill then. And I wrote the song, 20 minutes. I was back in the studio and we recorded the song. So the song was kind of written in 20 minutes. And then
20 years later.
20 years later. 20 years later.
20 minutes, 20 years later, we are like still.
Yeah, so that's how I think a lot of people are like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah.
Who is this girl?
There's something effortless.
You know what? I have to say this. DJ Fresh, he would always talk about me on his radio show on Y. Every morning he would almost play the song. He'd be like, you watch out for this girl, watch out for this girl. He didn't even know what I looked like. And I remember when they were doing his farewell party at Y, they called me. He didn't know that I was coming through. So he just sees this skinny little girl in the studio and says, hi, because a lot of people are coming in to say goodbye.
Yes.
So he would allow people to just say whatever they wanted to say on radio.
Jump on the mic and testify.
So he says, and you are? And I'm like, oh, I just came to sing for you. Because they said, don't tell him your name. Just sing the song. So I got on the mic and I'm like, I've been looking for the right words to tell you how, you know, the words of the song. Yes. It was like, oh my goodness, it's you. So, you know, like, yeah.
And then it became a party.
Yeah, it became and not until after I left.
Yeah.
Only became a party after I left. Yeah, but he was, pleasantly surprised. But that's the one guy that always told people to watch out for this girl. Right
and
here.
The big dog was not wrong. Today we're joined by a singer, songwriter, producer who has 4 studio albums under her belt. She sold out tickets to a live DVD album recording within 7 days. And what a treat. She will have new music out, I hear, which is great because we want to know all about that. Join us after the break for a whole lot more with Zonke Dikana. You yourself say that music is soothing for you.
Yeah, it's not shocking, but it's humbling. I mean, there's so many of us. The fact that I can have my people, I can have somebody pay attention to me is special. You know, there's so many of us, really. And for me, for you to play my song, I think one time I pulled up at a robot, traffic light or whatever you want to call it, and an Indian guy, I'm specifically
You have
saying
to say
Indian,
Indian,
yes, and he was playing Feelings. So I rolled up my window because I'm thinking, oh my goodness, Uzanbona, I don't know what to do with myself. And you know what I mean? He is not even black, where I'm thinking, okay, this song is a black song, you know, maybe black people enjoy it.
Meanwhile.
You know, so it's amazing how music does that, you know, where people can just fall in love with your work.
And nothing else, yeah.
You, when was it by?
But you from PE, eh? I also read you don't necessarily like watching yourself or listening to your own music.
I don't. It's embarrassing to me to listen to me. Also because I'm such a perfectionist. So the things that, I'll only hear the things that went wrong that you won't pick up. But according to me, I'm like, oh, that didn't go according to plan.
Do you not rectify it when you, I mean, rectify is a terrible word to use, but Zwei once said that you know, when he listens to his songs, he's always like, yes, I should have done this here, and I should have taken it up there.
Yeah.
But then when he goes on stage and he's arranging a live version of it, then he's allowed to fix those
things.
Those ills.
Yes. So, but with the recording, because you can't do anything, it's not like you put it out there feeling that way. No.
Yeah.
Everything
it
is
develops.
okay. Everything is okay. You're not thinking amazing. You're thinking, okay, I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
And then as you keep listening, when that part comes, you think everybody knows that the part you're unhappy about is coming. So you talk over it. You talk over it. You know? You're playing your song, the part comes, and you want to be louder than the music so that you can distract those who are listening.
From the fact that
they can't hear
like,
anything.
Girl,
yes.
You've ruined my favorite part now.
Yes.
Now I must rewind it.
Exactly. So it's not that something went wrong. It's just that you wish you had done it differently. Instead of going up, should have just gone down. Oh, am I screaming there? Oh, it's too much. Or, you know, things like that. It's like, okay, I wish I had, I don't know, sounded like this or like that.
I had slept earlier the night before.
Exactly. And then you go on live on stage. That's when now you're like, okay, fine. Let's rewind. Let's kind of put all the things that you want to do, you've always wanted to do, you know, in the studio. So yeah, that's why I love performing live.
If writing comes from such a personal place from you and it does so much for you, how were you able to write for other people?
Hey, and yes, namias. Because bonga bantu babhaleleyo, they would come back to me and say, how did you know this is happening or this is me? And yazi. I wrote Live My Life for Winnie Khumalo. And she used to work with me doing backings in my band. And when it was time for her to record her album with Kalawa Jasmine, she said to me, please write me a song. And she's always been so wonderful and so loyal and so supportive.
Yeah.
You know, when you're starting out, certain gigs, you're given the platform, but not necessarily the payment.
Yes.
So they would say, you can come perform, but you know, we're giving you.
So she would come and be like, it's fine, don't pay me, let me sing.
She'd be like, no, I'm there, girl, don't worry.
Oh, I love that.
So I loved that about her. So when she said, please write me a song, I was like, of course, you know. So I wrote the song, Live My Life. And I just took all the things because when I was younger, when I was so young, Winnie was already on TV and on radio, you know, doing Hey Sani, something like that, album yake. So I remembered those times, and then she disappeared, and then she came back into the scene. So I wrote what I was picking up from her, you know, and it turned out to be true. You know, it turned out to be true, and that to me was amazing. I think, yeah.
And real and authentic.
Yeah, exactly. And so she was like, wow, how did you know? How did you? And I'm like, I don't know, I just wrote what I was getting from you, the vibe that I was getting from you, yeah. And she says, everything
You nailed
true.
it.
And there's a part, thank goodness, I'm so happy you asked me about this song. There's a part where I write, ugogo wam wathi wini mntanam, wini mntanam. You know what I mean?
Wini mntanam.
And then I've noticed that people will be like, but what did ugogo say? Tela uzonke agqibezele.
Yes, complete the sentence.
But then again, if you had ugogo, any of us abanogogo, ugogo
Just say sing, mntanam.
ugogo doesn't have to finish tela. Othi nje zonke.
Mntanam.
Zonke. Pelele apho. So that's what the song is about. It's about you can fill in your own way. About namhlambe utheni ugogo kuwini, or what your gogo used to say to you. Because my gogo used to just say, Zonke, that's it. And I knew what that meant. So, and when you're a writer, you don't necessarily have to. You also, imagine ukuthi you're writing for smart people who
and
will.
Also, you have to kind of leave us room to develop the song, for it to mean what I want it to mean to me. So
thank you very much.
I'll take it back to what, for instance, my gogo told me that I mustn't trust people from East London, from
PE.
From PE.
I knew you were gonna say that.
East London, PE, and she's like, Mnanam, Anele Mnanam, those 3 places. So every time I'd hear that song, I'd be like, yeah, gogo.
But it was 10.
No, man, just talks of Sodom and Gomorrah, man.
No,
she's just like, I think the 3 men who may have wronged my grandmother in her life were from East London, PE,
and Butterworth.
So I think, because she was too specific about it, you know? And I was like, So I hear you're very strict when it comes to your children. There's no such thing as hanging out at the mall, Mom.
No, because I didn't grow up like that. I was not raised like that. And times are very bad. Kids are disappearing left, right, and center. Girls are disappearing left, right, and center. So it makes me even more paranoid. I would rather be a paranoid mom than the cool mother who wants to be friends with the kids. Oh, we're friends. Oh, let's go ahead because you want to be cool. I'm so sorry. I didn't bring you into this world so that I can lose you prematurely. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Not on my watch. We don't have sleepovers. We don't watch straight TV movies as you know, if a movie is not for age, then you have no business watching it. We don't watch music videos as being correct for your age because music videos have changed. You know, they're like, you know, short movies themselves where anything goes. So no, if you're gonna be, no, I mean, the thing is they're gonna grow up and leave. So why should I hurry that process up? Go about too easy and too laid back and giving them what they want and trying to be cool.
And when they leave, you want them to be able to stand for themselves and know that this is not for me.
I'm glad to say that I'm the perfect example. Mntwanam, I can say to her, don't do this. She's not going to say, why not? You did it. She will never say that to me because I've been the perfect example. You're good to know you don't behave like this as a girl. You don't say this as a girl. You don't stay out as a girl. Now, if 6 o'clock, it lights light on ban. Kulenjalo, Tina. You understand what I'm saying?
Who must close the curtains?
Curtains, exactly. Who's going to make sure if I'm not there doing a show? You know what I mean? So, yes.
I like that. Listen, Twitter, you guys are going... I don't know. I'm just going to go on a limb here. You guys may like her a little bit. All these comments coming through. Keep them coming. We love it. We'll be right back with Zonke. That interview, I was like, those are the words I never expected to come out of Zonke's mouth.
No, I said hip-hop lingo. They say ride or die. Because I wanted to make sure Mabela. This is not coming from me, but at the same time, I'm alive. You know, I hear things.
Okay.
You know, yes. So I made it clear that hip-hop lingo.
You ride or die.
Let's use that word. Yeah, I'm a ride or die type of person. You know, I don't jump ship when things go haywire.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very loyal. I'm very loyal.
But at the same time, they'll feel your wrath.
Oh, yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the song feelings come from. You see? I'll tell you with a smile. I'd even sing it to you. Like, can we talk about feelings? You know, like,
Deep down, you're like,
yes. But nicely, I'll sing it to you.
Okay. All right. So when do you want to get married? Are you married? Because people don't know anything about you about that.
If I do decide to get married, I'll let them know.
Will we be the first
one? Yes.
Okay.
I'll send a letter through to you, and then you can breaking news.
Okay.
Zonke is getting married.
But Zonke is happy right now.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy with my life, my music, my everything. Yes. I never stopped. Cut.
No, we can't cut. They just said 5 minutes, so I could stay at you for 5 minutes.
I'm very happy.
Okay.
Extremely happy.
Okay.
Love my life.
You love your life. And who is the person who, I mean, your sister who passed away, God bless her soul, Lulu, she was your soundboard.
Yes.
And, when she left, who then assumed that position?
I have a big family, eh? I do have family. I mean,
Okay.
my uncles are there. I have a lot of cousin brothers that are, to me, are not even cousins, they are brothers because we grew
Yes.
up in the same
Same
house.
house, yeah.
You know, there's aunts, there's, you know, so there's still the rest of the family. I have my youngest sister, Asanda.
You
Sugar,
guys are very close, I
We're
can
very
see it.
close. Sugar is there. Yeah, we're very, very close, you know, with all my cousins and my, you know, my
Are you
family.
overprotective of Asanda?
I am.
I can see
She's
it.
grown, but yeah, I tell her what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
I try to, yes.
Is it because you've lost your other two sisters that you feel like this is, you and I, we have each other now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I hope she understands that that's where it's coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, okay, maybe it's a little too much, I kind of smother her.
That's
but
fine.
that's where it's coming from.
Rather
like,
that.
oh, yeah.
Rather that.
Exactly.
Rather
I don't want
that.
to waste any time, you know, with her not knowing how I feel, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So there was this rumor that you were releasing a deluxe album. Oh, we waited, eh? Oh, we waited.
Well, let me tell you about that. The deluxe album was going to come, like Work of Art deluxe album.
Yes.
And I've been in studio working on that material.
Yeah.
Just to add a couple of songs, 5, 6 songs. And then when we sat back as the company, listened to the songs, we felt like, no, let's leave the album the way it is. It's beautiful. It's a work of heart and a work of art. Don't mess with it, because now the stuff that came out of me in studio is so different.
Yes.
So different. So we don't want to.
And you were going through a specific time. You
and
were
then
using
now-
it as a vehicle to heal.
Exactly.
Done.
Yes.
I agree with that.
So
I'm glad.
it really sounds like a different time. Like, oh my goodness, what happened to her?
Yeah.
You know. So it's interesting. It's interesting what I
But you
think
still
people
got
are
it
gonna
one
like.
day when you're like 60, you're just gonna be like, nah.
No, it's gonna come out around March. So I'm gonna spend the next 5 months.
Yeah.
You know, working on
Perfecting
more. You know,
it.
doing more songs. So I'm gonna continue to be in studio. So March, a new album is coming out, and I know that my people will be there just in
The Zonke
huge
Army.
numbers. Yes, the Zonke Army.
will
Yes,
be very loud and
exactly.
proud.
Yeah.
Listen, I think one day, and to wrap this up, because we must go now, I think one day the Zonke Army are going to have to book tickets and fly over to New York, to Madison Square Gardens, because a certain Miss Zonke Dikana is going to be headlining there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's our
Definitely.
wish for you.
That's my wish for myself.
Okay.
Trust me. So
Alright.
we are. Yeah, anything is possible, hey? Like, I don't like to talk about things prematurely, but what you're saying is
I'm just putting
very,
the universe.
Yeah, it's outside the door. So
Not far, eh?
not far at
Not
all.
far at all.
And knock is.
Well, you better get your freaking fly miles together, Zonke people, because New York is around the corner. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so very much.
You are so light. It's so much fun to just sit down and talk to you.
Thank you so much. Well, you make it so easy. You make it so lovely. Thank you so much.
Maybe you're going to sing at my wedding too. Listen, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Thank you so much to the lovely Zonke for coming through and letting us into a musical world of wonder, but also just her love for things that are South African and the fact that she is from here and she will never change. A big congratulations to John Taylor. You are a lucky winner. I think you might be our first guy winner, by the way. You've won yourself a e-gift card voucher with 5,000 Rand, all thanks to our sponsors. Until next week, Monday at 5 p.m. on SABC3. It's a ciao for myself and the team. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye. Such a close up.